Right, this video is just going to focus on some Microsoft Word skills that are useful when producing reports. So let's kind of run through this. Key things we're going to focus on is basically the contents page and how you can automate that, because that'll be a really useful and time-saving tool to know about for use in your project. So here is the mini project template which you guys are going to complete. Okay, and you can see that I've typed in the headings for the key sections of the mini project that you're going to complete. Okay, so how do I set up an automated table of contents? Well, it depends on heading styles, and these heading styles you can see at the top. I'm sort of circling my mouse around them, and yeah, if you can use these, then you're going to be able to set up the contents page in no time at all. So what I'm going to first off start doing is highlight the main sections of this report in heading 1. So analysis is a key stage, so I'm going to highlight that in heading 1. Okay, design is a key stage, so heading 1. Testing, key stage, heading 1. Evaluation, key stage, heading 1. The appendix, which I'll talk about later so you understand what that is, also heading 1. Okay. My subheadings then, which sit under analysis, I'm going to denote with the heading 2 style. So heading 2 for those. Now you'll notice actually that this isn't a heading. Actually, this is the actual paragraph text underneath current situation. So I'm going to change that to normal, and that's an important thing just to be aware of there. Okay, so go through data and dictionary is a subheading. The flowchart, and these two are also subheadings under design, and then testing, and then the last place that I've got useful links we can take out, we don't need it anymore, and then we've got the interview here as well. Okay, in heading 2 style. Okay, so I've applied my heading styles. Now that's important because if I tab this down now onto a second page, or in fact a third page, let's just do it on the second page actually. So we'll tab that down onto the second page. It means that if I go to where is it, references, you'll see on the left hand side I have the option to insert a table of contents, and then I can create an automatic table of contents, and it bases what goes into the contents table on the heading styles. So this particular automatic contents page will scan through the document, and anything that is in heading 1, heading 2 or heading 3 will be dragged out and copied into the contents page. So if I do this now and press insert, you can see that we have a contents page that matches up to the heading styles that we've just applied to the document. Okay. Now the next key thing of course is that over time you're going to add content. So let's go back to page 2. So oh, you end up with these funny let me just get rid of that. So a little bit faffy sometimes Word, and I suspect that's because heading 1 is selected there. That's a weird problem. You just make sure you turn it back to normal, and then you have control over that document again. There'll be another issue there. Yeah, it's normal. There we go. So I think, is that behaving how I want it to behave now? Yeah, it is. Okay, so over time of course content's going to be spread out, and you're going to populate this with information. So let's say that design now moves on to page 3. Well, if I tab back up now, my contents page is out of date, and so something just a good habit to get into regularly when you're doing a report of any size is just to keep updating and checking that those values are reflecting the reality of the report. So in this case that's looking right now, so update table and then just entire table, and that keeps that up to date. Okay, I guess I should probably add the page numbers onto the report as well. So if we go to the insert menu, you've got the option on here somewhere, I think, to insert page numbers. So at the bottom, or wherever you want to put that, so you've got the page numbering sorted. Other touches, this is quite a nice touch I always think, which you could choose to include. So you can notice here you can add in a sort of numbering system for the headings to make it quicker to reference, perhaps when you're sort of trying to look information up. And if you choose this option here, just note again in Word it's basing it on the heading styles that have been applied. So if I just click this and then scroll down, you can see that in my report now it's given numbers to each of the sections. Okay, to denote its importance within the document. And notice if I come back to here now, so if I come back here and update the table again, they also get reflected into the contents table. So that's quite a nice little feature. Again, final as well, last couple of things. So obviously you can customize the style and the look of the heading styles, so I'd kind of urge you to do that. In fact, I think it's on the design tab actually, so you can see there's lots of different sort of schemes that you can apply and formats, and then you've got your own customized colors that you can choose to apply as well, to give the report a professional feel. So however you want to make it feel, you can do. You can change the default fonts for the heading styles, etc. The last thing I was going to talk about is here as well. So again, to save you time, get things done quickly and efficiently and professionally, over here you've got space to put in a title for this mini project. Okay, so the tic-tac-toe mini project by your name, and you can delete any of the remaining information that you don't need. Okay, so yeah, I think, just one final thing that I need to talk about here is right down at the bottom, and I said I'd cover this in the video, is the appendix. Now the appendix is kind of, it's always the last section of your project, of your report, and you can almost think about the appendix as a kind of a dumping ground for information that's quite rough and bulky perhaps, and you probably wouldn't want to have it in the main body of the report. So the example I've given here is that you guys will obviously make some notes based on the responses I give to the interview questions. Those notes, for example, that you've handwritten, well, you wouldn't want to put that into the middle of a professional report, but you might want to kind of evidence the fact it's there in the appendix. And so in this particular example, I would put it in with a subheading, so interview, and then appendix A, perhaps in brackets next to that, so that I can reference it. Okay, as you go through the report, you might sort of amass other materials that you want to include in the report, and so you would just, next entry would be appendix B, and then whatever the information, the title of the information was that you were storing there. So that's what the appendix is. Yeah, and that's how it should be used. So for all the rough information that's not really suitable for the main report, that's where it needs to go. Okay, so you can use this video and apply those skills to your mini project template, and then you're in a position to start completing the actual project.